you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you do understand will confuse you. In all of these 9 areas of activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Anywhere on the planet, minute by minute, day by day, all of the time, all of the time, all of the time.
Well, good morning to everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the April the 23rd, 2024 edition of the Counter Racist Code Show. That is April the 23rd, 2024 edition of the Counter Racist Code Show with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. I am your co-host, Mr. Bobby, and we are hoping and praying for a good show today. Now, for those of you who are new to the program, and, of course, the regulars know, we would like for you to get in contact with the show and be a part of the show, and you can do that by calling 516-453-9921. And then, of course, if you have a comment or a question, you can simply just press the number 1 button, and when the call screener comes on, give the call screener your name so that I could make an attempt to properly give you an introduction with your name. You know, I have a tendency to jack that up, but we really do work on that. Now, if you are a first-time caller, again, you do this. You dial the same number, but be sure to tell the call screener that you are a first-time caller, and we have a special priority status for you to call in. As a matter of fact, speaking about priority status, I think this is the 3rd week that I have going to make this announcement. MS, Mr. Fuller has given you a priority status to call in and discuss the issue that we talked about even over these airways. We talked about it, so he said you can call in at any time, and we will make sure that there is a clear understanding if you don't have one already. But that's for you, MS, and you know who MS is. Mr. Booker, I will get to your issue in just a moment here. And now, for the rest of you, continuing on, we would like for you, if you would like to join the chat room, and all you have to do is go to blogtalkradio.com, and when you get on that, click on where it says programs, and then when you click that on, then a list of shows will come up, and the show that you want to get is the Produce Justice show, and when you do that, you click that on, and the chat box or chat room is available for you, and you can get in there, and they have a lot of good conversations in there. Okay. Hopefully I can in there pronounce people's name right. Say Shata. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Emery. And say Shata, thank you for being in the chat room. And lastly, yes, good morning. He's still learning, yes. Lastly, you can do this. If you don't feel to do those first two, you can join. You can Gmail me, and this is my number. The numero 7, Mr. Bobby, MRBOBBY @gmail.com. I will get that notice, and I will let you know that I have it, and you can write on there. But please, ma'am, please, sir, do not write me a long letter, because remember, we're on the radio, and we only have a certain amount of time that we have allocated to us that we can do that. Okay, let's see here now. An issue came up, and it was concerning the books. Now, and I'm going to probably make this two more times today, but for those of you who are online and are listening, listen, if you are having a problem with the books that you can get by going to producejustice.com, first of all, we encourage you to get the book, the code book. It's a guidebook. The book is called The United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept by Mr. Neely Fuller, Jr. You can get that book. You need that book. If you don't have the book, I strongly, almost strong-arm, recommend that you get the book, that you can refer to the book for suggestions on how to combat racism, white supremacy. You really do need that, and you go to producejustice.com. Now, we've been informed this morning that the issues that we were having with that book have been resolved, so you won't have any problem right now getting the book. And I say that particularly because for you, Mr. Booker, I'm not giving out your first name, but that issue that you wrote me about has been resolved. So you should be getting your book whenever they mail it to you. But it's cleared up. And let me say this concerning that. I don't know why people think that Mr. Bobby has pull in resolving your issues concerning anything that is done here at the station or, your book issues or whatever. Listen, I'm just a facilitator, and Mr. Fuller has asked me to be what I do, the co-host, and that's all I do. I have no pull, so I can't do nothing for you, okay? So even if you Gmail me with your issues, I'm sorry, I can't do anything for you. But this is what you do. All you do, if you have an issue with that, here is the address. It is contact@producejustice.com. I'm going to repeat that. contact@producejustice.com. State whatever your issue is, and they will handle it from there. That is the very best that Mr. Bobby can do for you. Now, I'm going to make this again, so I got to be repetitive, particularly in the second hour. But just remember that. Any issue that you have with that, you go to contact@producejustice.com, state your issue, and they will handle that. Okay. I think that is it for what I have to do today. Oh, yes, make sure that when you do call in, please give the call screener your name. I'm looking at the board here, and somebody in the 773 prefix has not given their name, but please make sure that you give the call screener your name. Okay, I believe that is it, so let's get on with the show. Okay, let me introduce to some, and just let me introduce him. And by saying this, first of all, good morning, Mr. Fuller, and how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm still learning.
Man, you sound like you had some breakfast this morning. You ready to go? All righty. Listen, everybody, this is a segment that we have Mr. Fuller. We call it Thoughts and Expressions on the Mind of Mr. Neely Fuller, Jr. Mr. Fuller, being that today is Tuesday, the 23rd of April, 2024. What's on your mind this morning?
What's on my mind this morning is what I've been trying to get over until people start doing it, just like it took me decades just to get a few people to start using the term the system of white supremacy. And when a few white people picked it up, then black people started using it. But it's just come to my attention just in the last couple of years. Black people just wouldn't go nowhere near that term, even though I've been out here about 50 years trying to get them to use the term. Stop, because of the term that they were using, and still many use it. They'll say, America did this, America did that. There's no such thing as America. I mean, people, I want them to stop and think. What is an American what is an African and what is an Asian. We talk about those categories. Those are categories of people that we talk about all the time. America is an idea, so you can't accuse Americans of doing anything. It's an idea. It's a concept. Benjamin Franklin called it that. When they even asked him about the backbone of what we call Americans or America, is what? The Constitution of the United States. Of, and I always say of, / for America. Because I add that for, because I'm saying that it's an invention of the mind that the so-called founders said, we're working on it. I think it was Benjamin Franklin, and I have the quote here, right attached to a copy of the Constitution. And Benjamin Franklin is said to have been asked at the conclusion of the convention, that's the Constitutional Convention, when they were writing the Constitution of the United States of America, for America, Benjamin Franklin was asked, what have you wrought? Meaning, what did this convention that he was attending finally came up with? And his answer was, a republic if you can keep it. So I have written down in my own handwriting as of last month, I put down, instead of what Benjamin Franklin said, how about trying a republic if you can produce it? Because that's, in another way, that's all that Benjamin Franklin was saying. He was saying, we haven't really put this same thing on and tried it out for size yet. We're going to try to figure out where that's going as we go along. And all of the philosophers and political lawyers have said the same thing. And then even lawyers turn around and contradict themselves. Like that's something that's not a work in progress. And it's the same thing with being, truth be told, an African and an Asian. These are works in progress. There's no such thing as an African. What exactly is an African? I've been looking through the census books and going all the way back to the 1880s. And in 1860, the classifications of race were white, black, and mulatto. Now, I have a huge number of pages here that I've clipped down from different newspapers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I have one going back to 2003 that's printed in the Washington Post that says that the Iranians wanted everybody, who was making out a census anywhere, says, people keep getting us mixed up. Say, first of all, we are white. And say, most Iranians will say that we're white people. And they're getting us mixed up with Arabs and everybody else. Say, we're not them. But it's a lot of confusion. And who is the usual suspects for that? The white supremacists. And they keep adding on. Now they say they're going to redo that whole thing about who occupies the Middle East. And that's in the process here in this year alone. And starting last year, they started doing a lot of talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the one thing that the white supremacists want, and that's confusion. So Neely Fuller's making all these remarks. So what I'm saying is, first of all, the first Americans have not been invented. So we can stop accusing Americans or praising Americans for doing anything because they don't exist. I don't think any historian can tell you who was the first American. It's an idea. Who was the first American? And while you're at it, I've been thinking, talking about what's on my mind. I said, who was the first African? Does anybody know? What tribe or individual was the first, what you say, African? You say, now these are the real Africans. There wasn't no Africans before these. Has anybody ever said that? Any historian that you can find that will tell you that? I haven't found one. I've been listening to a lot of people, dozens and hundreds of people, historians at what you call top-notch universities. And that question hasn't even come up. Well, and some historians should be able to tell you. Some white ones for sure. Or what they think that the first African was. Who is the first African? Not to say anything about what is an African now. Because when you start talking about the Middle East, and that's what is in the news right now, they're talking about what exactly is the Middle East. You got Egypt in there, you got Algeria. Back in 2003, Algeria was considered a part of the Middle East. Some people said Morocco. So what are we talking about? I thought Bethlehem and Palestine and Israel, that sounded like Middle East the way that I'd been thinking. But now the Middle East is bouncing all over the place. I mean, new candidates every year for the Middle East, and then they suddenly disappear. Yemen, the Middle East, sometimes. Somalia, Ethiopia, sometimes called the Middle East. Confusion. And the usual suspects, the white supremacists, they generate all this. I mean, people don't change every 10 years that much. I mean, some years you're the Middle East, and other years you're African. And then they say black African. Oh? What's black Africa? Well, sometimes, you got black Africans, and sometimes the black Africans ain't black. I mean, and everybody going right along with it, being pulled by the nose. I mean, this, that, all over the place. So I say, there's no definition for African except one that you made up. So I made up one, and that is African, Asian, and American, and I say they are people who practice justice.
Mm-hmm.
But since nobody practices justice, now this is what I'll go in court today and say under oath, anybody's court. I say nobody practices justice. Nobody guarantees that nobody's mistreated. There's no record of that.
Yes, sir.
And guaranteeing that everybody who needs help gets it. Now, what people on this planet do that? Nobody. So Africans, Americans, and Asians don't exist. exist.
Okay.
They are ideas to be reached for. And ideas of what? Of justice.
Oh, justice. Uh-huh.
Because there's no point in being an African, an Asian, or an American if you don't practice justice. If you don't practice justice, you're just a person that doesn't practice justice. And that's all that you are. That counts.
Okay.
Now, that's my opinion.
Okay. That's on your mind, huh?
That's on my mind.
Okay. All righty. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Fuller. Okay. Let's go to the phone calls in the remaining segment here. By the way, the person in the prefix 262, be sure to get a call screen of your name. But we're going to start off with a new caller, first-time caller, Ro, in says Chicago here. So let me get over here, and let's do it. Ro, get ready, Ro. Here we go. Ro, wait a minute. There we go. Ro, good morning. You're on with Mr. Fuller. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Bobby and Mr. Fuller.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
I just got a question I want to ask you that I've been having a problem with for a long time. When you make a statement that says all problems are solved through the process through questions and answers, and I think about that sometimes, and I think about the people that was on the Baltimore Bridge, and when that bridge went down and they was on it, they had a problem. Now, how they gonna solve their problem when that bridge is going down? Who they gonna ask? Who they gonna ask to solve their problem, or get an answer from when that bridge is going down and they drowning in the river?
Okay.
How do you solve that problem?
All right, Mr. Fuller.
How would I solve it for them, or how I would solve it for me?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I have to understand your question.
Okay. Yeah. Did you go ahead?
The code, I have an answer for that, and I have an answer according to the code for me. Now, if those people on the bridge were falling down into the water like they did, how would they solve that problem? They couldn't solve it, apparently, because if they could solve it, to keep from dying, if that's what they wanted to do, and I'm sure that's one, if they didn't want to die, they would solve it by not being on the bridge, but that was too late. So they're not here to speak about how they felt. And I can't answer for them. That's logical. I can't say what their thoughts were. Somebody would, have to figure out what were their last words. That's if I understand the question. How would they solve their problem? Okay? How would I solve the problem? How would they solve the problem? And I say, I don't know. How you solve a problem when something happens you didn't expect to happen, and it turned out to be a death situation that you could not avoid. I don't know what was on their minds.
Mm-hmm.
I can only say what's on my mind if I was in that situation, and that would be, I just hope I don't die. And I will die or I won't. Now it comes down to the purpose for the question. Now, I said all problems are solved through the process of questions and answers. That's if, what is the purpose for the question? And I guess you can tell me that.
Go ahead, Ro.
Neely, I agree with you. I think that some problems are not to be solved. Like, for instance, like the people that drowned on the bridge, they couldn't ask nobody a question, and they couldn't, do anything for themselves. So I think sometimes to add on what you say, I think problems are solved through the process of having understanding and the willpower. So if they had willpower, like they could swim, or they understood that the bridge was going to fall, they could have got off before time if they understood that ship was going to crash into the pillar. And I think sometimes also that's where the problem is, that we don't have understanding, or we might have the understanding, but we might not have the willpower to do it. So, and I think that's why our problems is not being solved. So thanks for taking my call. Just ponder on that.
Okay.
So I will think on it. I mean, because I'm required to. See, in other words, it's a problem trying to sort out all of the particulars that go in to you asking me this question. See, and there's always a correct answer to a question. So I have to think about it more. But right now, that's as far as my feeble mind will carry me. All right.
Okay.
But I still stick with it that all problems are solved if it's going to be solved. See, some problems can't be solved by people. Okay? But you find that out. And that problem is solved.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Okay. How about this one right here? And that's you ask a good question, Ro. How about this? You know that I guess they were working on the bridge. So, when you're in a situation like this, and this is for all of us, whatever we encounter, we have to ask this question in regards to all problems are solved through questions and answers. What if working on that bridge or that bridge falls? Now they didn't know this, but what if? What would I do? In other words, they ask that question before they do that. Is this job worth that? Because it could fall. What am I going to do? But we don't know what they thought or what they didn't think. But that's how it would be consistent with all problems are solved through questions and answers, and only they would have the one could be the one that answered that question. What if this bridge falls? Well, maybe if it does, maybe I may not want that particular job because of the danger. You see what I'm saying, Ro?
Yeah, and Bobby, you absolutely right. What you're just saying is that's understanding. Once you understand that, that's how you can avoid your problem, because you just ask yourself that question and you understand what you're asking yourself. So now you can say, well, I don't want that job because it might fall one day. You see? That's
correct. That goes for anything that we encounter, that we have to ask that question. Whatever it is, bridge or driving or walking, if I go in that neighborhood or whatever. All right, anyway, good question, Ron. Thank you for calling. And this is what I always say. Don't be a stranger.
Okay.
All right, thank you, my brother. All righty. Tell you what we're going to did, that past tense. We're going to take a break right now, and then we'll be right back. You are listening to the Counter-Racist Code Show with Mr. Neely Fuller, Jr., and we are so delighted that you have taken the time to listen to the program. Now, we would like for you to make contact with us, as Brother Rowe just did, and all you have to do is to call this number, 516-453-9921. You can listen to the show, or you can press the number 1 button, and what happens with that, you have activated the point where the call screener will come on and ask you your name. Give the call screener your name, and when it's your turn, you can be heard. I'll clue you in. You can also Gmail me at the numero 7, Mr. Bobby, MrBobby @gmail.com. I will get it. Usually I will give you a symbol that I've developed and let you know that I have received it, and at a certain time your Gmail will be read, and I'll let you know about that also. And you can do this. You can join in by going into the chat room. Go to blogtalkradio.com. You want to make sure that you click on programs, and when you do that, all these shows will come up. But the show you want is the Produce Justice show. Produce Justice. That's the one you want. And you get in there and you get into the chat room, and some of our regulars are in there, and they have good conversation, good knowledge. And by the way, for those of you who are new and get into the chat room, please, ma'am or sir, do not ask me a question in the chat room to ask Mr. Fuller. That's what the Gmail is for, or the phone number. So could you do that, please, ma'am, and please, sir. And since Ro brought up, well, anyway, listen, books. You can get the book that Mr. Fuller has written, and I strongly advise you to get that book. It is the United Independent Compensatory Code System Concept, which hopefully I'll have Mr. Fuller get a chance to speak a little bit about that book today. But you need that book. It's a guidebook. It's a book of suggestions of what to do and what not to do in counter racism, which is white supremacy. You need to know that. You need to know that and what you're dealing with so that you can counter that. Okay, let's do this. Let's go. Thank you there, Talif and Dollar Bill and Blacktop. Okay, let's go to the top, and we're going to go to the shop. He's probably smiling right now. All right, Blacktop, New York City. Go Knicks, man. That's my team. All right, go ahead, Blacktop. You on the air.
How are you doing this morning, Mr. Bobby and Mr. Fuller?
Oh, good.
I'm still learning.
Okay, so here's my question. I wanted to ask a question regarding Rackets. Now, last time I talked to you, I talked a little bit about the Jones brothers. I just found out they have a documentary coming out soon about the Jones brothers entitled King of Kings. Now, my question pertaining to this, it seems that if we go into the past, many, not all, but many of the black people who were financially successful to some degree at some point were involved in a racket. Even today, many people in the entertainment field claim they were involved in some sort of racket before they were entertainers. Even though it's risky, is that wise at all? Or is there any wisdom, any benefit at all derived from a black person being involved in a racket?
Your question is what?
Is there any benefit at all for a black person to be involved in a racket?
You mean doing something illegal?
Yes.
Well, it's a benefit if it's a benefit. But I wouldn't advise anybody to do anything that the white supremacists can accuse you of doing and you get punished for doing it. Why? Because if you're a person of color, they have power over you to do great harm to you for disobeying what they consider to be their laws. And there's no appeal except to them and to your Creator, because nobody else can help you. They get their help if they're a person of color. Any help that they get has to come from the white supremacists or directly from the Creator of the universe. Based on what, Fuller? On logic. Who's more powerful among non-white people than the white supremacists? Other than the Creator of the universe. Nobody. They're the most powerful people on the planet. So a black person who is in what you call the rackets, when they get in big trouble, they have to go to who I go to, if you're black, the white supremacists, and they ask for mercy. If you displease them. Now, if you don't displease them, particularly if you're just running around killing other black people, like many of us do, and writing songs about killing other black people, they'll help you promote that. No problem there. They'll sing right along with you. No problem. But if you look like you're going to do anything that's going to harm the system of white supremacy, you're in trouble. Let's put it that way. You can do anything and get away with it as long as it doesn't hurt the business of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do anything that helps to make white supremacy stronger. In any area of activity, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Economics, entertainment, education, labor, law, politics, religion. Does it help white supremacy? Sex? Yeah, do anything. When it comes to religion or sex, you can have any religion that you want. Does it help or does it hurt the system of white supremacy? That's all they want to know.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to know nothing else. All the rest of it, to them, to a white supremacist, any talk about anything else, it's just garbage to them.
Yes,
It doesn't mean nothing. It means absolutely nothing. It's the only way to help the system of white supremacy. They didn't even want to talk to you.
Okay. All righty. Blacktop, New York City. Go Knicks. Okay. Thank you for your call. Mr. Fuller, for the benefit of those who are online and for those who may have their focus a little obscured, can you repeat what you always say at the beginning of every program that I've been on with you, and even today you repeat that? And I say that is because a lot of times I've noticed that by some of the questions that we forget or people forget to focus on that statement. Mr. Fuller, could you state that for the benefit of what I'm saying and for the benefit of those who are listening so that we can bring the focus in? Can you repeat what you say at the beginning of every program?
I'll read it directly from the book. I have
yes, sir.
The textbook right in front of me. If you do not understand white supremacy, parenthesis, racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Unquote.
Now, why did you say that? So we can have a clear understanding as to why you made that particular statement.
Because everything is connected with the system of white supremacy. And the system of white supremacy is the most powerful force among the people of planet Earth, other than the force exerted or presented or used by the creator of the known universe. Second in command of planet Earth and the people on it and the creatures on it are the white people, not all, but the white people who have chosen to be white supremacists, meaning people who harm people based on the color of the people who being harmed. That's what white supremacy is. I'm going to do harm to you. I enjoy doing harm to you. I get benefit from doing harm to you. The first thing I get is fun. Every creature likes to have fun. So I'll chase you down in my pickup truck and shoot you in broad daylight, because that's fun. Understand what's going on. Why are you doing this, sir? Because it's fun. Wake up and smell the coffee, boy. This is fun. You kill each other, you do it to have what? Fun. You get tired of bouncing that ball on the court and whatnot. So you go around and bust a few heads. That's fun. Write a song about busting some heads of your good buddy. All right? And then you get tired of busting heads, so you shoot him. That's even more fun. Okay? Fun. That's the main thing. Next thing is glory. I got somebody's attention. That's what the slave talked about when he talked to Julius Caesar. Remember, Caesar, all glory is fleeting. The crowd was cheering Caesar. And later on, somebody said, so I read somewhere, that Julius Caesar was told again by one of his underlings, said, remember this, Caesar, in your high place. The same crowd that cheers you when you are at your highest peak of power, that same crowd will cheer just as loud when they're leading you to have your head chopped off. So you remember that.
And the last one.
And the last one, the material comfort. All creatures want this. I don't care, squirrels, people, all people. They want fun. They want to be well thought of by somebody, a gang leader. I mean, hey, you got 20 guys in your gang, so you walk around with your chest stuck out, okay? Or you're the head of a corporate ladder. Your mother or your sisters and brothers are fond of you and whatnot, so you feel good about that. See, everybody likes to feel good about kind of being looked at as somebody special. Yeah. And then the last thing is material comfort. Now, the white supremacists get all of those three things out of something called white supremacy, which is mistreating people who have color in their skin.
Yes, sir.
And that's it. They get all three of those things. It pays well. That's why it's so hard for white people who say, you know what, I don't like mistreating people. And they're really sincere when they say that. They say, well, boy, it's so much fun. Man, and they teach black people, hey, take this gun, and kill somebody. Now go to school and learn how to patch somebody up who got third-degree burns. That takes a little bit of thinking.
Yeah.
But it don't take no thinking at all to kill somebody.
Kill somebody, yes, sir. All righty. Well, now we know. So we got to stay focused on what it is and how it works. That is white supremacy, which is racism. Okay. Let's go get some holler from the Dollar. Everybody who's on the program know who that is. All right, Dollar Bill, it's been a minute since you've been on, but guess what? You on now, brother. Give us the holler, Dollar.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for all you do. And it has been a minute, Mr. Bobby and Mr. Fuller. I want to thank you all. But I have been listening.
Okay.
I've been listening. So one of the things is I wanted to talk about that Mr. Fuller, he had said in reference to not blaming America because there is no America, and to blame racism instead of America. White supremacy.
That's the compensatory code. Yes, sir. Oh,
yes.
Excuse me for cutting you off.
Absolutely. I love when you cut me off. Doesn't matter. It says white supremacy as the one or the thing that's doing us wrong. That may be true. But if they want to call it America, Mr. Fuller, even though you may think there is no America, if that's the name that they're calling the place that did people wrong, then that's who needs to repair what they've done. It's like if Timmy hit me in a bus. He's driving a bus. But he is, because he's a white supremacist. If he worked for the bus company, I'm suing the bus company. And I know don't favor cash payment for reparations, but how do you know it won't be what people need to end this system?
Okay. Mr. Fuller?
The question is, how do I know
that cash payments to Black Americans, let's go around the world because it's a worldwide system, that cash payments made to blacks all around the world for the injustice of slavery, how do you know that won't really make a difference in this system to change it to be better?
Okay. Mr. Fuller?
Well, when you say the system is just one system, and that is the system of white supremacy, that's the only government that really is worthy of the name government on the planet Earth, unless there is a more powerful one, and I haven't heard anybody prove that yet. I haven't even heard it mentioned. When I say white supremacy, that's what that means, supreme. Name somebody else who has more power than the white supremacists. I haven't heard that name come up yet, or the title, or who the people are. I'm talking about among people. Now, the creator of the universe, the white supremacists acknowledge that. But the white supremacist says, nobody else tells me what to do. Nobody else can back it up. What I say goes anywhere. And anybody contests me, they find out what's going to fall on them, because I know what to put on them. Now, you black people can run around. Now, this is what the white supremacists say every day. You can run around and play little games with each other, with your little tap guns and all like that, like I have to give you, with your dumb selves. But when you get in my face, you're going to find out what hell is real quick. And every time they have said that, they have proven themselves to be true.
Yes, sir.
They haven't lied about that yet. I can hurt you. Yeah, you're a black person, and I'm a white supremacist. I can hurt you. And you can run to anybody that you want to. You can't escape from me if I really want you.
Yes, sir.
Run them down my highways that I have to build for you with your dumb selves. Or put you out there and have you build them and show you how. And you think you can go anywhere on this planet and get away from me if I really want you? I can go to other planets if you're up there and get you. If you can get there without my help. And I have proven that, Negro.
Okay.
Talking about going somewhere where I can't get you. You're going to cross some ocean. I know where every ocean is in the universe, not to say about what's here.
Including North Sentinel Avenue, North Sentinel Island, which people talk about. Let me ask you, Mr. Fuller, and you also, Dollar Bill, this question, since all problems are solved through questions and answers, which I believe. Okay, what if reparations were given to all black people? Just bear with me. What if they were? Okay, question. What would you do with the money, since we're talking about that? What would you do with it? Do you have a plan for that money? Who would you give the money to? To make you whole. What would you do if that was to happen?
If you're talking with me for directly, I think that is a good question coming from you, Mr. Bobby, but I don't think that would be a question that I would take from anybody else.
Okay.
Because the reason why I say that is because that's not. It shouldn't be that. No one's asking the Jews what would they do with their money. No one's asking the Native Americans what y'all gonna do with your money. The thing about it is, I'm just saying, would it change the system? Would we be able to be better equipped to make a just planet if we had more? That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and I do understand what it is that you're saying, but
yes.
Not to agree necessarily with Mr. Fuller, but in this system that we're in, it only can operate with justice. So if you gave reparations but you don't have a plan what to do with it, then it would still be nothing. That's why it's insistent that the system of racism has to be what? It has to be eliminated and replaced with what? With justice. And then with justice you could do what needs to be done, which there is no justice on the planet. Mr. Fuller?
Yes, I'd like to address this.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to try to find the words to do it. I've gone round and round with a lot of people through the years, and I said, counter-racist codification is about coming to a conclusion. It's about finding answers to questions and doing it in record time and doing it the first time around, even though you do a lot of fumbling. As I get older, I do more and more of it. But here is the way I say it should be approached. And I have a whole thing that I'm working on that is mostly influenced in the so-called Western Hemisphere by the Constitution of the United States. Oddly enough, a lot of people say, well, that if you're going to use that or even mention that will be poisoning what you're trying to do, won't it? Some people have kind of implied that. I say, no way. No way. That's why I say I kept that word compensatory in there. Some people call it reparations. I said, that's a blueprint for repairing. See, I pay attention to not the personalities involved, Thomas Jefferson and all like that. I pay attention to that, but to a limited degree. I pay attention to what people actually do and what the results are. That's why I like those two words, constructive results. That's what I'm aiming for. Constructive results every time everybody makes a move. There's always constructive results, regardless of who does it. Okay? So here's what. And I intend to tell a number of people who down through the years have said, Fuller, I want money. I want money. So the compensatory way is, and the democratic way and the correct way, the logical way. Since we've been going around in a circle about whether they accept money as reparations, and they always, and a lot of black people say the past. No, it's not the past. It's going on right now. I mean, we need to be repaired right now for what's going on right now. We have never been repaired. Never had any kind of repairs done at all. The repair work is yet to be. We haven't been repaired. We are the black people are some of the most damaged people you'll ever find anywhere right now. See, the reparations is supposed to be, the best way to approach it. The people who want money have some options. We'll go the constitutional route of the people and by the people, okay? So, people if you're going to be self-governed, you have a lot of say-so in what you want and how you're supposed to get it. So a lot of black people say they want cash. The black people who want cash should get it. That's what the code says. That's what I discovered on the way of going back and forth with people who want cash. I say those who want cash, they should just negotiate about how much cash to get, and they're out. They walk away. Hey, I got mine. Y'all got yours to get. I got the exact amount that I wanted. Okay? You should get that if you can negotiate with the white supremacists enough to get it. Now, people like Neely Fuller, I want complete repairs, which means the big four. That's what I call it. I want health. I want housing. I want education, because I'm too dumb right now to do much of anything that needs doing. Okay? So I definitely want education. And I want transportation. Okay, you want those four things. For how long? For as long as it takes for the repairs to take root.
Okay.
And this is real important. And I'm recommending that that's what black people who are thinking ahead, you want those guarantees. Guarantee that big four. Health. Not all this stuff you see advertised on television. It's killing us.
Correct.
All right? We want to study every facet that has to do with health of all kinds. Mental health. We want that.
Exactly.
And somebody naturally is going to ask, well, I'll take care of your health for how long? For as long as it takes to repair all the damage that's been done to my health and to the health of non-white people. And move to the second one, housing. They say, well, you just want me to give you a house and then you're done. No. As long as I need housing. See, the house falls down, that means, and the ones going up now are falling down almost as soon as you get in them. That means what? I need another house. So that's the repair work. I'm talking about over periods of centuries, okay? If you're going to do repair work, do repair work. Don't do a slip. Just like when your plumber comes to your house. You don't want him to just do I think it'll hold it, and then walk out. And then as soon as he walks out the door, the whole thing falls apart. No, that's not a repair. That's not repair work.
Yes.
I want repair work. I want it to stay that way.
Gotcha.
All right?
Gotcha.
And if anything wears out and I still need a house, like people are saying now, they say, yeah, I had a house once, but I got redlined out of, eminent domain. Now I ain't got no house. So I need another house.
Yes, sir.
But the white supremacists are saying, well, if you need another house now, you're going to have to go back to the table. No, we went to the table, and that was agreed on. I will be guaranteed housing.
Guaranteed housing.
And education. And transportation.
Got it.
You need transportation.
Got it.
Because we're going to still be working.
Yeah.
And here's what. We can get white people to go along with it, because they're going to be getting the same thing if we raise injustice.
Yeah.
You can't get no better than that.
Yeah.
White
this
people
is why what you said, that racism, white supremacy has to be, I like this word, dismantled and replaced. You can't just dismantle it and not put nothing there. It has to be replaced with justice.
Yeah, absolutely. You got it all. See, because all you're going to do asking for cash is make a whole lot of white people mad. And they're going to get that, and they're going to get all that cash back.
When you say that again, exactly, they're going to get.
They're going to get every dime, and not only that, you're going to owe them.
That's what I was trying to.
They're going to tell all these black people, "I paid you. I paid you darkers off. Now get out of my face.
Dismantle and replace.
In fact, take your money that I gave you and get off of my planet." How about that?
How about that?
Find the place and see how far that money will take you.
You asked a good question, Dollar Bill. You really did. And I want to thank you so much, my brother. Any parting shot before you go, little brother?
I just want to say thank you, gentlemen. I'll be here soon, all the time on these Tuesdays. Now, get ready because I'm coming.
Okay, Dollar. Appreciate the holler.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's Dollar Bill from New York. Listen, guess what? We have concluded the first hour of the Counter-Racist Code Show with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. So if you have to go away, okay, you go ahead, but be back next week, huh? Be back next week. We thank you for listening. But for those who are going to be here with us, stick and stay. Don't go away. We'll be back in 5 seconds. All righty. Welcome back to the second hour. Yeah, that's right. You heard it right. Welcome back to the second hour of the Counter-Racist Code Show with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. I am your co-host, Mr. Bobby. And we thank you for listening to the program. We have a lot of callers on the line, so we're going to try to get to those as quickly as we can. But for those of you who need to call in, this is the number, 516-453-9921. Press the number 1 button, and we're going to try, T-R-I-T-R-Y, to get you on so that you can be heard because you are important. Listen, you can join the chat room if you'd like. All you have to do is go to blogtalkradio.com. You want to click on the programs menu, click that bad boy on, then what comes up is a list of shows, and you want the Produce Justice show. You click that, and then you can get on and in the chat room when they have very provocative conversations. Boogeyman Justice, all righty. And lastly, you can Gmail me at the numero 7, Mr. Bobby, MRBOBBY @gmail.com. I will get it and let you know that I got it, and we'll read it at a certain time. All righty. So you can do that, bad boy. And, and I will inform you of that. And one more important announcement. Listen very carefully here. We had a problem with the book. Well, I was informed this morning. Mr. Fuller and I were informed this morning that the book issues that we were having have all been solved. So when you order the book at ProduceJustice.com, you will get your book. If yours has been on back order, trust me, I was told this morning those issues are solved. You will get the book. Now, in addition to that, if you have any problem with that, you can go to ProduceJustice.com. Some people think that I have some pull around here, and I absolutely do not. I'm just a co-host. So there's really nothing I can do for you but just refer you to this site that I'm going to give you. If you have any issues like that, just contact. What you do is this email address, contact@producejustice.com. It's all set up to answer or resolve your problems like that. That's contact@producejustice.com. All right. Got to get that out the way. That's what you do. Books are in? Okay. All righty. Everybody in the world knows this. They know about the yo. That could be only Talif. Talif. Words of wisdom to you, my brother. Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Bob, Mr. Fuller.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm actually near the Windy City today, and taking care of some business. When I When I got here that evening, Mr. Bobby, Mr. Fuller, I think I got here Saturday. I went up to Michigan first. I have a nationwide delivery and moving company and everything, so sometimes I take a few trips. I went to visit an aunt that had cancer. But Mr. Fuller, that evening, there was a police officer who was shot and killed. Now, he wasn't breaking up a fight. He was on his way home, from what I understand. I don't know if they solved it yet. Now, Mr. Fuller, when I see things like this, and Mr. Bobby, I'm always, of course, I wasn't born at the time, but I always hearken back to what Malcolm X said, chickens had come home to roost. So, Mr. Fuller, and I pretty much know the answer, but there's probably a lot of people, because we always ask the same questions. And you just brilliantly, articulated how they like violence, and it incites them. Now, I don't know if the guy was caught up in just a random shooting or if he was targeted. So, Mr. Fuller, if you can repeat again, like what Malcolm said, this is a country that preaches hate, produces hate, violence, and these people are getting younger and younger that's committing these crimes. And Mr. Fuller, I want to ask you again to explain, why is there so much hate taught in this system of white supremacy?
Okay. Mr. Fuller?
Why is there so much what?
Why is there so much hate taught in this system of white supremacy?
Hate packed into the system. Hate packed. Hate.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next word is packed.
No, why is so much hate taught in this particular system of white supremacy?
Well, that's what most people call it, hate. But you don't hear me use that word hate except sparingly, because I think that word is in the textbook word guide. I would have to double check and see the compensatory definition for hate, because I just say what people do rather than use a broad expression, because hate is an emotion. But I just simply say, did you murder somebody? Either you did or you didn't. So the code says when anybody murders, meaning killing somebody unjustly, when you commit murder, you commit the greatest insult to your Creator, because you have killed something that you cannot create. You can kind of take care of it up to a point for a little while, but you don't have any business
Bobby, I'm gonna try to get to you.
killing anybody. Nobody has any business insulting the Creator of a person by killing that person, because you cannot create a person. Now, a person says, oh, well, come on. We create people all the time. No, you don't. That's why they call it reproduction. Reproduction. You can't create black people, white people. No person, no creature creates anything. You reproduce what's already here. So you don't take anything out of the universe that you can't or didn't create. When one person kills another, willfully and deliberately, in what is called murder, willfully, deliberately, and unjustly, for an unjust reason, including the person who was killed just because the person had a uniform. Now, was anybody trying to, like the illustration that the person gave, I read about that, I heard it on television or something happening a few days ago. Somebody ambushed a law enforcement officer and just shot him down. Now, according to the code, what? That's an insult to the Creator. What do you know about that individual? Was the individual, did mistreat you? That person was an individual person. You just don't look at the uniform. I mean, black people have a uniform. It's a black skin. Stop and think about that. A person just walks down the street and says, you look just like that guy that I saw that insulted me or my mama last week. So, because he looks like him, even though I know that ain't him, but he looks like him. He got the same uniform, a black skin. Boom! So you kill him. The code says you violated a contract that you have with your Creator. It ain't with me or that guy or nobody else. This is between you and the Creator of that person you just killed. And according to the code, that's the greatest insult that you can make to your Creator. Your Creator, because you were created by the same Creator that produced that person, that created that person that you just killed. Everybody needs to think about that on the planet, including all the people in what they call the Holy Land and Ukraine and Philadelphia. Anybody who's carrying that gun, and I'm gonna take care of this by killing someone. Stop and think. If you murder them, all right. I'm talking about murder now, not just talking about killing in general. You kill people in self-defense, and self-defense is just that. But because you're mad about something and all like that, and you're going to shoot into the crowd at a baseball game, no, you're insulting your Creator, gang leader, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you just think, according to the code, it's like telling God, there, take that. You're getting that from me, God. You're getting that from me. I'm sending you a message. This thing out here that you created, I'm going to kill it. And then I'm going to look around at you and say, there, take that. How about that? This is between me and you, God. I kill one of your products. And what you going to do about it?
Wow.
Now, I don't think that you're going to come out on the better end of that.
I don't think so either. Wow. All righty. Talib, thank you. Thank you for your call. Appreciate that, brother. You didn't ask me to keep you online, but I'll tell you what I'm gonna did. I'm gonna keep you online for this one. You'll like this one. All right, and thank you for your call, my brother. All right, now you know Mr. Fuller has given priority status, and listen, if Mr. Fuller gives you priority status, make sure that you tell the call screener, that call screener knows it anyway, but make sure you tell the call screener so that I'll know who you are, so I can get you in. So with Victor and Corey and Nicolette, you know what I told you, so hang on in there. But this is priority status. This is priority status MS. get ready. I'm getting ready to come to you. Mr. Fuller is giving you priority status, and you are on with Mr. Fuller. Good morning, MS.
Good morning, Mr. Bobby. Good morning, Mr. Fuller. This is MS, a.k.a. Django. I'd like to make a VGQ preceded by a question or two. My VGQ is that I know that I'm a prisoner of war, the war of righteousness versus evil. However, I don't see or greet myself in the mirror with good morning victim, but with the greeting of good morning God. Mr. Fuller, please don't dribble your answer to my questions, but follow your code and slam dunk your answers. Question number one. Mr. Fuller, in the movie Shawshank Redemption, who saw themselves as a victim and who saw themselves as a prisoner of war, Andy, Brooks, or Red?
Andy or whom?
Brooks or Red?
Andy, I understand the character Andy, did not commit the crime of murder. So he thought correctly that he shouldn't be locked up for having done it, because he didn't do the crime. He had been drinking and planning on doing it, but he drank so much that he couldn't carry it out. So even though he was thinking about it, because we all have sometimes murderous thoughts, maybe, or some of us do, but we don't actually commit the crime, so you shouldn't be punished for something that you didn't do, since he got double life because he was accused of having committed the crime of killing two people.
What about
murder.
The other two?
And now, Brooks, I don't know what he was in for, because the movie didn't say.
Okay.
So that left Red, who Red said, I committed a terrible crime. Now, the crime was never said what he did, but he said, I committed an awful crime, and so now I'm being locked up so that I can just sit and think about the thing that I did that got me in here.
Okay. All right.
And so, was he a victim? Red was a victim of white supremacy. But the white supremacists decided also that he's going to be put into greater confinement, that's what the code calls it, by having committed some crime that was unnamed in the movie.
Okay.
But it was serious enough to give him a life sentence.
Yes, it was. Steve, MS, what's your second question?
Okay. Mr. Fuller, would you agree that the main lesson of the movie was get busy living or get busy dying?
Yes. That's why the movie ended on that note, fundamentally. That was the punchline for the entire movie. What you do, and they kind of gave a hint of it early on while they were at the lunch table. He said, hey, I was able to do 30 days in the hole, and it was the easiest time I ever did, because I had that music in my head. I played those different songs that I heard on the records that I played in the warden's office.
So I took that in my head, and that kept me going. I looked up, and they were letting me out. It's because it was a case of people using their minds. Some people call it mind over matter.
All right.
You know, and so.
Can I ask one
the main thing he was saying, he said hope, H-O-P-E, a 4-letter word.
Okay.
And that's a word that comes up every now and then, almost everywhere. People don't know it.
Okay.
But
usually, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Fuller.
But that's the lesson of the movie.
Okay.
Really.
Okay.
Get
usually
busy living, get busy dying. Don't give up hope.
That's what I was
Don't
going to say.
give up hope. Keep hope alive, as Reverend.
Yeah, Reverend Jesse.
Jesse Jackson. Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's been saying that for years.
Okay.
Now people just might say, "Well, that's just a slogan." No. It's always another day. Like in the movie Annie, tomorrow, I love you tomorrow is only a day away. Like the man that burned himself alive a few days ago.
Yeah.
All right. According to the code, even though he was in awful pain about what's going on overseas and all like that, I said, he should have waited. You never can tell what happens in 24 hours.
Yeah, but he didn't. But he
didn't, so he's gone. No, try to go as long as you possibly can. Get busy living, or, like he did, get busy dying. Because you got that choice every day. So always to the best of your ability.
Usually we don't do this, but because Fuller gave you priority status, I'm going to allow you to do your third question, but it's got to be real quick because we're jammed up.
Yes. Okay, so on that note, Mr. Fuller, can a person become a universal man or woman if they see themselves as boys or girl victims?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's how you see yourself. If you see yourself as not being a victim, then you don't have incentive to change nothing. The first step toward becoming smart is to recognize you're ignorant. That's what you do when you go to school. You're telling the whole world, I am ignorant. I need to know more than what I know already. That's why I came here. What's the point in coming here and already know everything? No. That's why Neely Fuller says something very logical at the beginning of every program. Not for the audience, this is for me. And that is, I'm still learning. When you stop wanting to learn, you are getting busy doing what? Dying.
Yeah.
You're not getting busy living. Because that's why I say, of the 4 things, education, you don't stop being educated. No such thing as an educated person. Because you don't know everything that you need to know or can know that will give you a better advantage than what you already have. That's the logic.
That's the logic on it. Okay.
Always follow the logic.
Always.
I have to learn that.
All righty. Thank you, MS. Appreciate your call. You remember you had priority status. Let's go to Nicolette. Good morning. You are on with Mr. Fuller. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mr. Bobby. Good morning, Mr. Fuller. Okay, so I recently, I'm in Georgia burying my father, so I went to the Georgia University, and I seen your book for the first time. On page 142, it was talking about politics. Do not say any person in the known universe is an example of any people or person. It should not be. So I had a question, but I had a comment first. The show today was very uplifting because, in fact, I was thinking about just giving up the fight. I recently ran into a book called Time for a Revolution by Miss Marimbu Maramba. And I'm just really grateful, Mr. Fuller, that I finally had a chance to actually read your book because it gave you insight and it do restore a sense of hope. Because once you know the code, as Dr. Wilson was teaching, once you know the code, you do know the questions to ask so that other people will be able to go through that door that so many before me have opened up the door for me to go through. However, lastly, I'm glad that you always say we don't have to agree with everything that you say. You're just still learning, and so you're teaching us what you have learned. So with that being said, with the reparations, I do agree with you halfway about reparations, giving people money, and it just goes back into the system. However, I think, as you stated, the system of repair, building more recreational centers, building more skill-based jobs, bringing idle jobs back to the U.S., that would then transform neighborhoods into more of a better blue-collar stakeholder because the blue-collar level has been erased. So, again, I'm glad I was in tune today, and I really didn't have much to say because I am in a grievance process. So thank you for letting me chime in.
All right. Thank you, Nicolette. Yeah. I just believe one day she's going to be a lawyer. I just do believe that. All righty. Tell you what we're going to do. We got about 33 minutes, so let's take a break and then let's pour it on. You're listening to the CRCS, the Counter-Racist Code Show with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. I am your co-host, Mr. Bobby. We do thank you for your participation today. Your questions have been outstanding, and those in the chat room, you're making a young brother proud. Appreciate you. Listen, to get in contact for those that are new, here's the number, 516-453-9921. I can hear Miss Love telling me, slow it down. So I'll do it again, 516-453-9921. When you call that number, make sure that when they answer that you give the call screener your name so that I could hopefully give you an introduction. All right. You can also join the chat room, and I'm going to tell you right now, man, the people in the chat room, man, they are really on point. How do you get there? You go to blogtalkradio.com. Click on where it says programs. And the program that you want is the Produce Justice Show because there are many programs there. But you want to produce the Produce Justice Show. Yeah. Click that bad boy on. And when you get there, I think it's to the right, the box available for the chat room is there. You get in there, and you can see what I'm talking about. Good job in there, people. And lastly, you can Gmail me at the numero 7, Mr. Bobby, MRBOBBY, at gmail.com. I will get it and go on from there, read it, and we'll give you a symbol that I have received it, and then at a certain time, then I will read it. As you notice today, we've had a lot of calls, so I haven't had a chance to get to the Gmails today, but I will, hopefully in future programs. So thank you. All righty, let's go to the phone lines, and let's see here. Whoops, my screen just messed up on me, but let me see, get back here. Okay, let's go to, get ready, AP. I know, AP. Got you, man. You're on. What is your, good morning, and what is your question for Mr. Fuller?
Grand Rising, Mr. Bobby and Mr. Fuller. May I ask a direct question, and then may I be allowed to bring context to that question in a form of a VGQ?
We went over on Stephen, so yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Can heaven or hell actually mean two conditions that exist on earth?
Can heaven and hell
Can heaven or hell actually mean two conditions that exist on Earth, and I'll explain why I ask, because it really in reference to your opening thoughts on concepts and ideas, and I'll explain if you need further clarity on the question.
If a person wants to look at it that way, that's the codified answer. It's perspective on how a person chooses. Those are two viewpoints, or maybe 5 or 6 different viewpoints. But the question directly is, can heaven and hell exist on the same planet at the same time, if I understand the question? And it depends on how a person defines heaven and how a person defines hell, the individual person.
Okay.
That's the compensatory logic.
Correct. I love the code book.
That's the only way that I can see it. I always say, don't follow Neely Fuller or anybody else. Anybody, any person, I don't care how famous they are or not or whatnot, follow logic. The universe has a logic.
Correct. So, you do speak about that a lot of times, Mr. Fuller, in the form of follow logic, because what you're trying to produce, which I love, and I want to produce the same things, love plus justice equals peace. You speak about that quite a lot, correct?
Well, I say love and justice are one and the same.
Correct.
According to logic.
Correct. So a lot of people...
And then you define what love is and what justice is. Correct.
Correct.
And according to the code, love and justice are one and the same. And what is justice? If you say love is equal to justice, well, then what is justice? Justice is guaranteeing that no person is mistreated. No person. Where, when, and all like that. Anywhere on the planet. You got to guarantee that, or you don't have justice. Martin Luther King, a lot of people have said it in a different way.
Well, the reason why I ask...
The other thing, you got to guarantee that the person that needs help the most gets the most constructive help. Now, there's no time in recorded history that love and justice has ever existed according to that definition. It's got to be brought into existence.
That's correct, and that's the reason why I love what you do and what we all should be trying to do. Why I ask that is that many people read the Bible, and many people, to me, the Bible to me is basic instructions before leaving Earth, and there has always been a reference about the Bible as a place that God will execute judgment in the afterlife. But has anyone ever come back from the grave to tell or inform the living that such places do exist? I'm not saying that they don't. Questions and answers are always something we should use as logic, as you say, that came with the universe. But we see that in the system of racism, white supremacy, that the Bible has been used as a means of control and manipulation. And it creates the confusion and chaos that we're seeing today. So the reason why I'm asking that is that one of the passages in the Bible is, Our Father who art in heaven. It's a prayer, and it ends with, on earth as it is in heaven. So I love what can be produced and what we should be trying to produce and bring forth that actuality on the planet Earth. That is the reason why I'm asking the question in the form that I love your answer, and I agree with that answer, because everybody has their own interpretations of what they may believe in. And you started out this morning in the program with concepts and ideas and followed it up with America doesn't exist, Asia, Africa, and I think that you're right on point about that. But the area of religion is a very contentious area, and we see what is going on with Trump, how he lies, how he's able to maneuver and do what he does. It's nothing more to me than a manner in which Satan acts in what he does and what he shows, how he goes and manipulates. And the system of racism, white supremacy, is a product of that action. And that was my VGQ, and I thank you very much for the answer. If you have a follow-up, please do, and I'll continue to listen.
All righty. That was AP. Okay. Mr. Fuller, did you have a follow-up before we go to the next caller?
Well, the code says one thing you don't do is get into an argument about any religion at all, and you can have a conversation, according to compensatory logic, about the religion of white supremacy. That's the name of it. It's not Christianity. It's not Islam. It's not Judaism. It's not Hinduism. The religion of white supremacy is the religion of white supremacy. Now, you can have conversations according to the code, because that's what I do. And the only thing I say main thing I say, brother, about people mentioning Christianity or Judaism or Islam is, if you believe in Christianity or Judaism or Hinduism or Confucianism or Islam, practice what your religion tells you you must do and not do. Just practice your religion, whatever it is. And I will, according to the code, because I have a religion, I just ask people three things. What does your religion require you to do in all 9 areas of activity? And this is what I put in the code book. What does your religion require you to do in all 9 areas of activity? And what's the name of your religion? Get that first, really, in proper order. What's the name of your religion? Most religions have names. What does your religion require you to do in all areas of activity? And what does your religion require you to do when you see me coming? And that's all that I will do when I talk to anybody about religion.
Okay.
Why? Because I found that that's the best way not to get into an endless argument, because once you get into that argument about religion, you got what? What you got in the Holy Land right now. That's where religious arguments lead, according to the evidence.
According to the evidence.
But now you can argue with a white supremacist about the religion of white supremacy. And the religion of white supremacy doesn't have any other name. White supremacy is the strongest religion that's been demonstrated among the people of this planet. There's no religion that's proven to be stronger so far.
So far. Okay. All righty. Continuing on the phone on the phone lines. Corey. Let's see if I can get this over there. Corey, you mentioned last week about I don't know if there was a resolve to that murder in Milwaukee. You began to shed some light on that before you asked your question. Was there any resolve to that guy that dismembered that lady?
Yeah, Grand Rising, Mr. Bob and Mr. Fuller. Yes, he's in custody. They've recovered some additional body parts of the young lady that he murdered. So there's no more updates besides that. That's.
Oh, okay. Well, he is in custody. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, he's in custody, and it actually brings me to my question, Mr. Fuller. So far on the program, we've heard about law enforcement that was murdered, reparations, and even the concept of heaven and hell. There's been a outcry from certain members of the victim's family for anyone in greater confinement to do harm and to stop this perpetrator, this murderer, from breathing, basically asking like somebody to murder the murderer. Mr. Fuller, can you please explain how that's not reparations, because it doesn't repair the harm that was done? Murder of any kind, unless it's to save your own life or someone else's life, cannot be justified. And none of this is repairing the harm that's done if the system of racism still exists. Can you just explain that? Can you please just explain that, Mr. Fuller?
Okay.
If that's logical.
On the back of the book, the textbook for victims of white supremacy.
2016 edition?
2016 edition.
Okay.
On the back of the book, and I have a check mark. That's the only check mark I have on the back of the book. And that is the second paragraph.
And let me turn to it. Okay. All right, go ahead.
The second bullet point. Okay? Bullet point. I mean, that tells you something right there. They call them bullet points.
Yeah.
All right, always death in mind. Everything connected with the system of white supremacy, a bullet point, all right, that's what you call it. I mean, that's sending a message right there. What does it say? No major problem that exists between the people of the known universe can be eliminated until racism is eliminated. Right to the point. Simple and direct. Racism is a major problem. It says, in answer to the question that the caller just asked, it says no major problem that exists between the people of the known universe can be eliminated until racism is eliminated.
But what page is that on? I'm looking for that.
It's on the back of the book. The back of the book.
Okay, I'm at the...
The book has a cover.
Yeah?
The back cover of the book, where it says about the author.
Oh, yeah, okay, I see it. Yeah, okay.
Yes. That's why I put it in a place where it can be found easily. I mean, this is to give people an idea of what the book is about. And it says right off on point number 2. No major problem. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it right here. Yeah.
Yes. In other words, you're not going to solve any major problem among people on this planet here in the year 2024 without solving the race problem. That thing going on in the Middle East and all like that, it'll just go on, and go on. You ain't going to solve that because at the root of it is the race problem, the problem of white supremacy. You have to eliminate white supremacy if you're going to settle that mess in the Middle East because the color factor creeps into it. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything, once that happens, everything else is out the window. You're going to have killing, you're going to have everything in every area of activity. Economics, meaning time and energy, money, all of that. It ain't going to get straightened out anywhere on the planet on account of white supremacy. You can't solve no problem among no people on this planet without solving the problem of white supremacy, because it is the biggest problem maker. Now, the white supremacists are smart enough also, and they show that and have proven it, to be biggest problem solver. See, if you're really efficient at making problems, and you're really efficient at solving problems, that's what makes you supreme.
Yeah.
You can do both. Now, those white people who practice white supremacy are not dumb people. They're not ignorant. Sometimes black people have said, "Oh, well, they use the N-word and all that kind," because those are just ignorant. Those are ignorant people. No, the people that tell you what to do are not ignorant. Ever. That's according to logic, not according to Neely Fuller. That's according to logic. I try to follow logic. Why? Because I've never seen logic fail. Logic came into the universe. The Creator created logic. And when anybody goes up against logic, the Creator, whatever created logic, has set it up so that what you're going against, you're going to lose.
Yeah, yes,
logic rules the universe. The sun comes up and acts in a different way. A cow is not the same as a horse. You might call them something the same. Yeah, you can do that. You can call a male a female like they're doing. Yeah, you can do all that. But calling it that don't make it so. That's logic. Follow the logic. Logic will not fail you. The Creator created logic for people to follow. When preachers or teachers or anybody doesn't follow logic, if you think fire won't burn, just try it. Babies know that. That's how they learn. They get to that hot stove, they know, hey, something's going on here. And I don't like it. That's why when the baby reaches to put his hand in the fire, it doesn't feel good. That's a message. That's logic.
That's logic, yeah.
There's a feeling that goes with that. The baby picks that up. The baby doesn't know what fire is, but the baby knows, I ain't doing that no more.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't try to force me to do it. I'm going to start crying. Big time.
All righty.
Put my hand in that fire.
Okay. All righty. We got 11 minutes and we got 2 calls. Let's go right here. Victor, quickly, you all with Mr. Fuller. Go ahead.
Well, hi. I wanted to ask 2 questions. I was wondering, Mr. Fuller, if white supremacists are skillfully violent, malicious, and deceitful, how can we expect them to care what they say in the area of labor and law?
You expect them to do anything that will support white supremacy. White supremacists, they're wedded to what they do. That's their only value. They don't value anything other than I'm white and I'm supreme. Supreme over whom? Over everybody that I say is non-white. And by being supreme, I believe in mistreating them and not taking care of their needs and deceiving them. That's mistreatment. Anytime somebody's deceiving you in order to harm you, that's mistreatment.
That's mistreatment. Okay.
And they do that.
And very
and
well.
And they glorify it.
Mm-hmm.
And they love another thing, is when you do a lot of killing, that is a very serious form of mistreatment. And the white supremacists, their culture is to see to it that a whole lot of people are dying.
Yeah.
Now, they know how to patch people up. And they do patch people up. That's who we go to when black people all over the world, hey, send me a hospital ship. I don't know what to do with my child dying. I want to see some white faces around here. I mean, these black people, they're members of my tribe, and I brag about them, and I parade all up and down the roads about them, and all like that. But my child is dying.
Your child is dying.
So get me some white people in here real quick.
Alrighty.
They'll tell you that in any language.
They sure will.
A whole bunch of dark-skinned people. And, if you believe I'm making it up, look at a whole lot of dark-skinned people doing what right now as we speak. Say if you're in Gallatin, Texas or someplace.
Or
they're not lying about people coming across border. Do you think all those dark-skinned people are coming out of Haiti or coming to look up Fuller?
And they just
are they telling people at the border, I want to catch up with this guy Neely Fuller because he got the answers to my problems. Yeah. They're not coming looking for me.
And they
say, I'm looking for some white folks.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to nobody until I see some white faces. Because I know all you dark people ain't got no answers for me. All you got is a whole bunch of added problems.
Yeah. What's your second question, Victor? Real quickly.
Okay. I was just wondering, if white supremacists are people who are at war with themselves and at war with the Creator and at war with the animals and the plants, who are they not at war with?
Oh, nobody. They white supremacists kill each other.
Kill each other.
After they get through gunning down black people, they say, hey, I got some more bullets left. And his brother standing next to him and say, yeah, we both have. So let's challenge each other to a duel. See, they want to fight any kind of way.
Yeah.
And they'll have it. I mean, they'll agree to that. Some of the so-called founders in the Western Hemisphere. The people who are in the crowd that made that wonderful Constitution, and it is wonderful, too.
Oh,
right.
Those. Oh, you mean the founding fathers. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the so-called founding fathers.
No,
what did they do?
Yeah, no, I said
founding. In other words, sometimes on a nice, beautiful, sunny day, when people can be outside enjoying the fresh air, if there's any left. No, they're out there doing what? Challenging each other to a duel. Now, here's what we'll do. We'll turn our backs to each other. Each one of us will have a pistol, and we will walk off 10 paces. We'll have somebody count them out, and then we'll turn and fire. And whoever is the best shot will be dead. And they'll shake hands before they do it.
Okay.
Now, that's kind of foolishness.
Yeah, that's foolishness.
And we have absorbed that kind of nonsense. That is not logical at all.
No more
logical to a person that loves death.
Yeah. No more logical than slave owners writing the Constitution. All right, Victor, thank you. Yeah. Darnell, quickly. We got you on. Ryan, I don't know if we're going to get to you, but we'll try. Go ahead, Darnell, quick. Can't hear you. Go ahead. Darnell.
Dang. I'm trying to. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, come on. We got you on, man.
Can you hear me?
Come on, Darnell. We got you. We only got a few minutes now.
It's cutting in and out. My BGQ is for all the victims to just stay on code and be more kind to each other.
Okay. All right. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. All right. Ryan, I think you're the last one, Ryan. You got a few moments. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay. Freedom Culture Tech. What's going on, Mr. Bobby, Mr. Fuller? What's going on,
yes,
chat
sir.
room? Real quick, Mr. Fuller, is white supremacy just theater?
Is white supremacy what?
Is it just theater?
Theater?
Yes, sir.
Well, you can call it that. Yeah, under the third area of activity, you can call it theater. Shakespeare said, you know, the world is a stage, and we're all just players. We come out on the stage, spend a little time, and then we walk off the stage, and other people come on the stage. So you can call it that. There's all kind of metaphors for it, all kind of examples. There's all kind of things you can call white supremacy, but it's still white supremacy.
Mm-hmm. Including cafes, diners, and other restaurants.
Okay. All righty. Well, you know what? I'm getting some interference here. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, yeah, we're coming to about the end of the program. So, Mr. Fuller, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We've got about 3 minutes. So,
somebody's still on the line.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I'm trying to fix that there.
French cafe, coffee.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I can fix this because I hear that too. Very, very annoying there. Not good. Not good at all. Okay, Mr. Fuller, you got about a couple of minutes. Go ahead and finish it off. You got about a minute. That floor is yours, Mr. Fuller.
Now, when a question is asked, even if it's not being asked directly of me, the code requires me and anybody who is aware of the question to try to find the logical answer to that question. I mean, you know, and so all non-white people should try to produce that habit anytime, even when a question is not asked of you, but you know of the question. Try to find the answer to that question if you think it is of any value, and most questions are of some value. Now, here's what I heard asked on television last year, I think it was. What is a woman? Now, somebody might remember that a judge was asked that question. A black lady who is a judge, has the title of judge. What is a woman? And there was complete silence. So I asked that. I said, oh, okay, Fuller, suppose you're supposed to be finding answers and whatnot. What is a woman? And so I think I came up with the answer. A woman, rather, as a constitutional judge, that's the person who the question was directed to. As a constitutional judge, I will know the answer to that question after being informed by the legislators. I think that is the answer that the black lady could have given and be telling the truth.
And be telling the truth. Well, I got to tell the truth about this.
Yes.
We out of time now.
Mm-hmm.
We are out of time. I am so sorry. You were right into it. But thank you, Mr. Fuller. Thank you, callers. Sorry that we're out of time, but got to watch that clock. We got to go. So, Mr. Fuller, I'm going to give you the last words.
ProduceJustice.com.
All righty.
And also move it. And while you're at that website, read that movie list.
All right.
I like people to look at the list, see the movies, and we'll talk about them too.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, producers and everybody. Thank you, Mr. Fuller. All righty. We'll hopefully see you next week. All right. Bye.
Yes, sir.
Verbo Vacation Homes come with 24/7 live support. So if you ever need anything, you can reach a real person in about a minute. Because if it's 4 a.m. and you need assistance, the last thing you want to do is wait to talk to a robot.
Hey, how can I help?
After all, live support is an amenity every vacation home should have. Verbo, private vacation rentals for you and your people.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.